Hello everyone, welcome to the second part of my video in creating my version of a fall wreath. So it's not really going to be a wreath shape, it's going to be a heart shape. And the only prep I've done so far is off camera is I have this bit of MDF heart, and I've just applied, it's just a one coat of paint, and I didn't even have to use any primer or gesso or anything. It's not a full coverage, so you can see there's some patchy areas, and that's exactly what I was going for. It doesn't have to be a perfect coverage, that's not what I wanted. So this was perfect for what I needed. And my first thing I want to show you are the paints that I've used for this. So I just used one color. I've got some swatches here. If you've watched any of my videos, I'll probably mention doing swatches for in every single one of them. In this case, paint swatches. So I've got, I keep them on one of these rings. I don't know what they're called. And they're just little 2 by 2, so 2 square inches of good quality cardstock, kind of mixed media cardstock that will take paint quite well without bulking and stuff. I just keep them in rainbow order, and what I do is I swatch a little bit with a dry brush. So I'll get a bit of paint, I'll apply it, I'll try to apply some areas that are thicker, others that are thinner, and then in the back I will put down the make and the reference for this color. And then whenever I want to do a project, because I will never remember just by looking at the bottles or, you know, the jars of paint what exactly the color looks like, and I might want to combine colors and see if they go well together. This is how I do it. Okay, I just go in and I pick a color, and because they're in rainbow order, I just find that much easier to work with rather than by brand. And then I just, if I want to know what brand it is and where I can go and get that from my shelf, then I'll just look at the back. So I swatch these because I've only recently found these, and I'm so in love. I think this might be my favorite set of acrylic paints ever. They are a super matte, they achieve a super matte finish. They dry so quickly. I mean, yeah, I just cannot rave them enough. They give you a really good coverage. So this, I was just, you know, trying to spread it out. I don't know what more to say about these. They're just gorgeous, and the color palette is exquisite. So I've only got these 5 so far, and it's because I knew I wanted to kind of make these fall type projects, so I picked these colors that I thought would go well together for that. This is the one that I used to color the MDF. So this is Cal 20 Matone. So it's by Stamperia, I forgot to say this. These are the Allegro range of paints. So permanent acrylic by Stamperia. And Stamperia is a brand I love anyway, and that's kind of how I found these, almost by accident. Because I was watching a tutorial by one of their designers, and he was using Anthony's, who I absolutely love, by the way, and he was using some of these paints, and that's how I kind of understood that they even existed, and I thought I'd try them out, and boy oh boy do I recommend them. They are stunning. Such good products to work with. So that's the prep that I've done here. A bit of MDF, and I just colored it. So I colored it all the way around because I don't want that to be showing, and front and back. I don't really know what's the front and the back. I don't think it particularly matters. The other prep I've done is I've used Prima modeling material. I've got some other videos where I talk about different types of clay. This one in particular, I do a demo of using it, and I've got an extensive blog post on my website, thecraftscurator.com, where I explain the difference between different types of clay, including air drying clay and this modeling material, which is heavier. So do check that out if you're new to this, but it's a really gorgeous clay to work with. And I had this old mold. This one was a Martha Stewart one. I don't know if you can still get them, but I remember that I had these cute pumpkin molds, so that's what I've made. They are not fully cured yet in the back, so you could see that, yeah, you can see that bit is still not dried, but the front and the edges there at the back have began to dry, so you can see they go a bit whiter. And also you can hear that this is no longer malleable, it's now beginning to harden. So I made 3 of these, and I think I will do this is going to be kind of the center of my heart wreath. But as I said, they're not fully cured yet, so I'm going to wait until they've completely dried to paint them. And I think I will probably use a combination of these colors to paint my little pumpkins for this. So I'll put those to one side for now. And what I've also got, so check out my other video, I've got all of these embellishments. So I've got different size paper leaves, I've got these other leaves from metallic cardstock, and I've got glitter branches there, and I've got more glitter yumminess. So I've had to turn the lighting on. Hopefully you can still see okay. What I've done is I remembered watching a Tim Holtz video a while back where he was creating his own colored glitter and showing us how we could do that. He was using Ranger distress, I don't know if it was distressed glitter or mica flakes. I don't have those products, so I'm using something that I think is kind of similar. It's by Cosmic Shimmer. It's Glitter Jewels, it's called, and it's the Iced Snow one. And if I open it up, it's just these little gorgeous flakes, iridescent, kind of glittery flakes. And I saw him using it on a video recently. Not these ones, obviously, his ones. And I just thought I'm going to give this a go because I'd love to get a bit of sparkle onto the wreath base once I've stamped and stuff. So, so far I've created 2 colors, this gorgeous, vibrant orange, dark orange color, and I've used that, to create that I used the Splendor Alcohol Pearl, is the color that I used for that. And then this gorgeous brown, but it's kind of it's not a dark brown, it's got kind of hints of gold, I suppose. It's kind of, yeah, a cross between the gold and brown. It's just super, super gorgeous. And I've used that, to create that, I've used the Sepia alcohol ink, also by Ranger. So this is super simple to do, and I just thought I'd do one more color to show you how easy it is to do. So you pour yourself some mica flakes onto a little plastic cup. I'm definitely going to keep using these once you've poured these out into its respective containers to keep them, because definitely not going to use all of this at once. You could give it a bit of a wipe just to make sure that there's no color left, and you can reuse these for other things. I usually use these for paint pouring. So the color that I'm going to use now to do the demo is the Cloudy Blue alcohol ink. And I just thought this would be really nice, not actually for this project that I'm doing, but I just thought since I've got these out, I will show you how to how you can make your own. This would actually, I think, be really nice for Christmas snowy projects, to add kind of a hint of slight blue to your snow. So what you do is you pour yourself some mica into a little cup, and then you add a few drops. So I tend to do like 2 or 3 big drops of alcohol ink, and then what you want to do is you want to immediately go in and start stirring. And to begin with, you think it's not really working because it seems like it's only grabbed a few of the flakes, but you just have to keep doing it. Just keep mixing them. Keep at it. Because at this stage, it's kind of, some of the flakes have absorbed a high concentration of the ink, so those are dark. And then the more you stir, the more they all become the same, more muted color. So you just keep going until you think that actually they are now all pretty much the same color. You're going to want to try and go around your cup to see if there's any bits of ink that are there. You definitely want to grab all of that. But this is all there is to it. You just keep on stirring. And also you need to let them dry fully before you kind of empty it to a different container and start using them. It's super quick to dry. I mean, if you've used alcohol inks before, you know how quickly they will dry up, and it's the same thing with these. So can you now see, even though to begin with it looked like it wasn't going to work because it was just a few clumps here and there of color, it's now this really, really gorgeous pale blue. If I pour it out, hopefully you'll be able to see it better. Can you see all that gorgeous? So it's still, it's not a solid color, it's not dark. It's just exactly what I was looking for, what I was hoping I was going to get. I think it's going to go really nice on snow projects. So that's just a little aside to show you these. So the colors that I will be using are these two. And that's because that's going to go, I've got a bit organized in the meantime and just put all my embellishments into these little cork trays. I use these all the time. I think they're really handy and they stack up as well. So the leaves, the little glitter branches, and I remembered I also collected these little acorns and the shells from my local park a few weeks ago, so I thought, oh, I'm definitely going to try to incorporate these. Okay, so my little pumpkin pieces are now fully dried, and another trick is, can you hear that? If you tap it, it makes that noise. It means that it's dried up. So I'm going to paint these first, and then I'm also going to work on the base, so doing some stamping and some kind of distressing around the edges of the shape. So let's start with the pumpkins. So I think I'm going to use a combination of these two colors, because if I just use the Cal 20, it will be the same, very much the same as the base one, and I also want it to stand out a little bit. So I think I'm going to try to use primarily this biscotto color, the Cal 43. Okay, so I'm just going to let these dry. I mean, this paint dries very quickly, but I will let these dry. I might add a few more touches once this first layer is dry. Let's see how we get on. But now I'm going to prepare my base. So I've got a crackle stamp set, and I'm going to use it. So I'm not going to this is a crackle. I'm not going to mount it because I don't want it to be a perfect impression. In fact, I want quite the opposite. So I am going to use some Distress Oxide. I'm going to use Vintage Photo, and I'm just going to apply it all over, and then I'm going to use parts of the stamp to get an impression here and there. So I'm going to go on the sides there, and then I'll come over, and this is the great thing with a crackle effect like this. You can overlap things, you don't have to be precise, and you're still going to get a nice effect. So at this stage I think I need to re-ink my stamp, but if I bring this up closer, I think you can see some of that. I'm really sorry, the lighting is really not that great today. I had to turn on the lighting overhead and it's not great, but hopefully you can see some of that coming through. And what I also will want to do is I'm going to use a little blending tool, and I'm just going to go over the edges again. I'm not expecting to see the edges much, but I definitely want them to have a bit more depth to them. So I'm just going all over, and every now and again dabbing a bit more ink, and I think you could see that you get a nice aged effect. Just going all over. You don't really have to be neat at all. This is not about you know, really blending anything in. It's not like I'm blending colors on paper or anything. Just going around the edges and inking them up. And you really want to be as random as you can. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. So some darker patches, some lighter patches, and I think I'm quite pleased with that. I think what I will also do, because this is going to be home decor piece, and I will you know, also see the back of it, I think I will just go over the edges at the back as well. And you probably can't see much of this on camera right now, but I'll take some pictures at the end so you can see a little bit. Okay. Quite happy with that. So I'm going to let all of this dry. This and the pumpkin pieces there. And I'll be back in a bit. Okay, so I've realized that obviously pumpkins, the stalk, I think it's called, of the pumpkin needs to be green, not that color. So I'm going to rectify that. Something you might have watched me done before early in the video is whenever I have leftover paint in my brush, I don't like anything to go to waste, and these actually will make great bits of paper to die cut and to just do some compositions for my junk journal and things like that. So I always like to clean as much paint as I can from my brush onto a bit of paper, and particularly if you, like this, get all the colors to more or less match. You can cut these then into strips, or you can use them for partial die cutting, or as I said, with some composition on top. These are actually going to look really, really nice, and that way you don't waste anything. So these are going to dry quite quickly, and I've got a few things I'm going to use. So obviously I've got these mica flakes that I've prepared and showed you before. I've got my little real acorns. I also remembered that I had some other acorn trinkets. I don't think that you can get these anymore, I'm not sure. These are by Stampin' Up, and they're so super gorgeous. Can you see that? They're really heavy as well, and they're just beautiful, and the colors are going to match really nicely with the other embellishments. I think what I might do is I might try to get them to hang from the little hanging rope that I'm going to do. So my idea is that I'm going to have the pumpkins kind of overlaying each other, you know, as if it was kind of a harvest type thing. I am going to get all of these, and I'm just talking you through kind of my thinking of how I do things. I probably would change my mind halfway through, and but this is just so you understand how you would do something like this. So sometimes it can be quite daunting to just have a bit of a blank, whether it's a piece of paper, cardstock, or an MDF piece like this. It could definitely be quite daunting. So this is just showing my thought process of how I would do it. And I will change my mind lots, and that's just part of the process. I don't think many people have it all figured out on exactly how they're going to want to do things, and that's part of the beauty and the fun of this, is that you just get to change your mind a lot. So this is roughly what I'm thinking, that I'll have the pumpkins, then I'll have all of these bits hanging off, and so I'm alternating the two colors, the brown and the rust color in there. Just make it a bit closer. Yeah, so you've got alternating, those alternating, and then I'm gonna have to incorporate these as well. And as I say, I'm just playing with this at this stage. I just wanted to show you this because otherwise it might be a bit confusing when you see me watching the using this. So this is also by Stampin' Up. It's one of my favorite trims of all time. It's the copper trim. It comes like this, so it's kind of a metallic thing. You can use it like this, and I think I will at the top here when I create my little hanging thing to go over the hole there. I think I'll use a combination of these two. So this one is a linen, what's it called? It's called braided linen trim. Super gorgeous. But what you can also do with this copper one, this is the bit I wanted to show you, is you can expand it. So if I grab an end there, and then you could start opening it up, and it's really nice to use as a background thing. So it creates this kind of mesh net thing, and you could, you know, make it wavy or however you want to do it, and it's just really such a nice thing to add texture. So you could use it on background of cards or in these types of home decor creations. So I'll definitely use some of this in the background as well. And then I'm going to have the leaves, both the copper ones and these ones and the bigger ones, I think at the bottom, hanging out just off the edge. So the other thing that I'm going to have in the center, I think, are, I showed you before how I created these copper meshes from just the copper trim, and I think I definitely will want to have some of this hanging off, so kind of underneath this. So I'll need to remember to glue that first as well. Yeah, some bits hanging off there. I'll just leave one there to remind myself. And then I'll also want to incorporate some of these. So again, kind of interspersing them between the other branches that are already there, and also alternating the colors between the red and this kind of golden color. And that's kind of my thinking. And then all the leaves around the edges. I think it'll be something like that. So I'm gonna put these back on each of the little things. The leaves will be the last thing because those are going to be going around the edges. So what I need to adhere first, usually at this stage you could take a picture just to kind of remind yourself as you play along, if you then forget how you're going to get things. And then what I'll also want to do is I'll want to scatter around some of this mica goodness. And I don't know if I'm going a bit too over the top, but I just feel like playing with all my supplies. I also have these micro beads. These are by Creative Expressions. Color is copper, and I mean, look at that. This has got a little lid. Let me take that off. Oh, so satisfying. Yeah, so these are tiny, as the name suggests. Let me try to get it to focus. Yeah, can you see it there? Micro beads. So I'm going to be applying all of these. You could apply it with PVA glue, your favorite one, but I am going to use Distress Collage Medium Matte because I really don't want it to show at all, or to show it as little as possible. So, I think I really like this already. So I am going to take these off, because what I'll need to do, so to adhere things to the center, I think I am going to use the pin flare glue. Let's see, actually I might not need that. I think I will use the pin flare glue for around the edges, because I might want a bit more dimension, but I think to begin with, for these bits at the top, I think I will use the matte medium, or the collage medium, I should say. So I've got a little brush here that I only use for this, so it's also from this line, for the collage medium, and I just prefer that, then I know I'm not going to ruin one of my paint brushes. And I've got this one, and I think these are synthetic bristles, which means that, you know, it's going to be easier to wipe off things like this. So the first thing I think I'm going to adhere in the center there is those bits of the copper mesh that I want hanging out. And I think what I'll do is, because I don't want to waste any of this, why would I? I'm going to cut them, because I want them kind of hanging off the edges there. Yeah, if that makes sense. So I could do it like this, but then there's this whole bit across the middle there that would have been wasted, and why would I do that? Don't want to waste any of this. It's far too gorgeous. So I think I'll get 5 bits. I'll get probably 1 bit left over. So get another one there. I probably don't need to go in as much, actually. Just adhere them a bit more over the edge. That one's fine, this one's fine. And just for good measure, I am going to apply just a little bit more of the matte medium on top there, to make sure these will stay in place. So I will go around and glue these down. And at this stage, this is not yet completely stuck, so you could still maneuver them if you're really quick. Sorry guys, I'm back. The battery on my phone died. I'm really sorry. So I don't think you've missed much. All I was saying was that I can kind of peek underneath there, and I could go in with the syringe and just add more glue, because this otherwise will be kind of quite floating, this piece on top. So what I'm doing is I'm keeping it in place and just tilting it, so that when I add the glue, I know that I'm adding it to a place that is going to be covered, and not to, and it won't then show up, she says, hoping to achieve just that. So I will now have to go in with my fingers, and what I mean by that, it's probably going to be covered with glitter and all sorts of things, but I just don't want a lot of this glue to show, because it kind of has a glossy effect. You can see a bit there on the edge there. So I'm happy with this. I just want it to have enough base in there, and it's clear. You can kind of only see it if you pick through, but it's completely clear. I just don't want it to go over the edges, but I also don't want this to be floating too much, because otherwise it's not really going to stick down much. But when this glue becomes dry, it will, trust me, nothing else will move. It will be like a bit of plastic in there. So the other thing that I need to now stick down are these super cute acorns. And I'm so happy that actually, you know, I just salvaged them from the park. They were just on the floor there. So maybe I should just go with 3, because otherwise this begins to be quite busy. What do you think, 3 or 5? What should I do? I think just the 3 will be fine. So 3 of these, 3 of the pumpkins. So I'm just going to add some glue down there. And I will have to be careful not to move it about too much once I place it. I think I need a bit more in there. There we go. So just need to choose where I want to dab these on. So some there, some here. And actually what I want to do is, I think that would be enough for now. I can come back later and add some more glue. I wanted to alternate the 2 colors, right? I quite like that. So I think I will definitely, whilst I'm adding this color, I will go in and add, sorry, I know that's off camera, just for a second while I grab some more medium here. I will add some of these. I think it will look gorgeous if I have some sprinkled across the pumpkins there, because it's kind of that pumpkin color. I'm going to add a bit more matte medium to places. And get more of flakes from that different color. So, okay, never enough space, is there? Think I quite like that. I think that's really nice. So I'm going to let this dry, but this is about it, I think. I think I definitely changed my mind and I'm not going to use the leaves. So just remind you, I had all of these leaves cut out. I had some copper ones and I had all of these paper ones. I will come up with another project. I'll incorporate that, but my heart is telling me that I should leave this alone now because I think it looks gorgeous just as it is. So I'm going to let this dry. I'll put some photos. I really hope that this project has inspired you to just have a go at creating something. Like you see, this wasn't my original plan. I had forgotten I had the acorns. I haven't used the copper beads yet in the end. But this is just what it is about. It's about letting art take you on a journey, and having fun with it, and hopefully at the end you're going to get something that you really love, and that you look at it and think, oh gosh, I've created that. So hopefully this video has inspired you. Thanks for watching, and do visit my blog, thecraftscurator.com, for more pictures, close-ups, and details on the products that I used. Until next time, take care. Bye.